Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Minnesota.
The week-long road trip continues for the Twins. They are in hot, sticky Houston tonight to open up a three-game series against the Astros, a team that is much improved this season compared to last season. Left-hander Tommy Milone will make his Twins debut tonight. He came over from the A's in the Sam Fold trade a couple of weeks ago. Milone will match up with Brad Peacock, who has struggled in his last few starts. His ERA is 16 in his last 3 starts. Good evening from Minute Maid Park. I'm Marnie Gellner. The Twins will become much more familiar with this ballpark over the next few years now that Houston is in the American League, making the switch from the National League at the start of last season. We'll get you set up for this 3-game series for the Twins and the Astros. First of all, yesterday in Oakland, the Twins snapped a long streak against the A's. 12 consecutive losses ended yesterday thanks to Kurt Suzuki and Josh Willingham helping the Twins beat the A's. After a quick stop in AAA Rochester, Tommy Milone got the call to make his Twins debut tonight. He had pretty good numbers with the A's. He'll be working with his former catcher in Oakland as well. That's Kurt Suzuki, who he's paired up with tonight. The Astros are on pace to win about 15 more games than they did last year, playing much better baseball, especially here at home. They've started the month of August 5-1 at Minute Maid Park. The marquee player for the Astros is second baseman Jose Altuve, and he could be pesky for opponents. Altuve leads the league with 160 hits, and he's second in baseball with 46 steals. Altuve will be playing second and batting second tonight. The Twins would like to give themselves a little boost on this road trip, though, and they could do that with the return of Joe Mauer to the lineup tonight. That also means there was a corresponding roster room move, a rather significant trade. Dick and Jack have that next.
Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. And by Jeep. Hurry in and get a great deal during the Jeep Summer Clearance event.
It's time for the Twins' now annual trip to Houston. We're at Minute Maid Park, opening game of a 3-game series between the Twins and the Astros. And this series in Houston coincides with the return to the lineup of Joe Mauer on our Sanford Health injury report. He missed 6 weeks with a right oblique strain, a little rehab assignment down in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And now he's here in Houston, ready to go. And we welcome you to Houston. It's hot and muggy outside, nice and comfortable inside. Dick Bramer along with Jack Morris for the opening game of this 3-game series. The Twins were waiting for 6 weeks to get Joe Mauer back into the middle of their lineup. Unfortunately, he's here in the middle of the lineup at the expense of another hitter that was in the middle of the lineup.
Yeah, it's good to see Joe back. Hopefully he can regain some of the form and lead this team with his offense. Because of the acquisition of Joe, or reactivation of Joe, they had to make a roster change, and they traded Josh Willingham to the Royals for a right-handed pitcher, Jason Adam. And you know, Josh probably is a little disappointed. He really enjoyed his time here in Minnesota, but he's going to a contending team that is on the verge of possibly even taking over first place today in the Central Division. So he's putting himself in an opportunity to really enjoy something that he's never been through, and that's postseason baseball.
Well, the Twins are going to send to the mound left-hander Tommy Malone. He is new to the Twins. He's making his Twins debut. Malone with a 6-3 mark for the Oakland A's, who traded him to the Twins a few days ago.
Well, everything we hear about Tommy Malone has been positive. We think that he is going to be a great addition. First of all, he's a left-handed starter that the Twins haven't had in their rotation all year, so that is a plus. But he throws strikes. He knows how to pitch. He's smart. He changes speeds. It should be nothing but good for him. We can't wait to see him pitch tonight.
Twins hope that Malone will anchor a spot in the rotation as a left-handed starting pitcher. Haven't had many left-handed starts this year. Malone will get his first shot at that job here tonight in the opening game with the Astros coming up.
There's a drive to left off the bat of Dozier. It is deep and high off the wall. Suzuki delivers an RBI double, and the Twins lead it 2-1. And the losing streak to Oakland is over.
Moore don't have to talk about the Oakland losing streak anymore. Twins facing the Astros for the second time this year. First time at Minute Maid Park. Twins lost 2 out of 3 to Houston at Target Field back in June. Tough day for the manager. Josh Willingham, I think for the fans too, a very popular player. And the Twins at just within the last hour or so making the announcement that Willingham has been traded to the Kansas City Royals. So a revised Menard's batting order has Danny Santana leading off. Brian Dozier with a good day at the plate yesterday. Then Joe Mauer back in at first base, hitting third. Kenny Vargas, Trevor Plouffe, Kurt Suzuki, Chris Parmelee added to the lineup with Willingham being traded. Then Eduardo Escobar and Jordan Schaefer.
The Twins will face the right-hander on the mound tonight for Houston is Brad Peacock. He's making his 17th Major League start of the year. 3-8 record, really has struggled his last 3 outings. It'll be interesting to see if the Twins can be patient. What he will do, his command has been tough. He has a hard time throwing his fastball over as of late, so it should be an interesting game. He has struck out 10 Twins players in the past, a year ago in Minnesota.
And a pitch outside, ball 1. We mentioned it was hot and muggy outside. Imminent thunder showers are right around the corner. So we're happy to have the roof closed. We've got baseball, and there's a strike to Santana. Santana with 5 home runs on the year, one of them against the Astros at Target Field. And a base hit to right. Santana starts the game with a single. And that'll bring up Brian Dozier. The Astros out on the field. Brought to you by Northland Ford. Domingo Santana is in left. Jake Marisnick is in center. Robbie Grossman in right. Matt Dominguez good with the glove at third. Petit, Altuve up the middle. Singleton at first. Jason Castro behind the plate. And that is hit down the line. Dozier has a hit, and it hits the ball boy. And Dozier will go to second base. The ball boy in the corner tried to get out of the way, but the carom on the sidewall down there hit him in the right leg. It'll be a single followed by a double, and a great start for the Twins early against Brad Peacock.
See this pitch right down Broadway. Brian Dozier doesn't miss it. Pulls the ball. You mentioned that it ricochets off that corner down the left field line. That ball probably would have rolled out more towards center field, but either case the shortstop was going to grab that ball. I don't think the runners would have advanced any further than they have.
First game back in the lineup for Mauer, and he's got a chance to drive in a run or two right out of the chute. And the first pitch taken for a strike. Joe injured on the game July 1st. In his absence, the Twins went 15-20. Might be able to hear the thunder outside Minute Maid Park. 1-1.
We've seen so many teams put a shift on Joe Mauer, and the shift tends to be towards left field where he sprays the ball a lot. You see the center fielder is shaded a little bit towards left, but the infield is straight up. So there's some holes on the left side for Joe.
1-1 to Mauer. Middle infield playing back. They'll concede a run on a ground ball. Up and away, 2-1. Joe brings a 12-game hitting streak into this game, even though his last hit came in his last game way back on July 1st. Inside, 3-1. Vargas on deck, and Castro's got to go to the mound. That's what the Astros have seen from Peacock in his last few starts. Very little command, a lot of guys on the bases.
What happens with young pitchers, and all pitchers really, when they lack confidence, but especially young pitchers, when things start going poorly, and you get hit around, you tend to want to really be fine and try to make perfect pitches, and it's very difficult to make perfect pitches. And then you end up getting behind. Joe Mauer's always had a good eye at the plate. He will take a walk, and that possibly could load him up for Kenny Vargas.
Fouled away, and it's 3-2. Just those top three numbers we showed you on Peacock. Last three starts, 0-3, 9 innings pitched.
That would be an average of 3 for us.
Wow.
Guys really have a tough time with math. Not good, folks.
No.
No.
It's a full count here to Mauer. Twins with a chance to do some early damage and provide some early run support for their new left-handed pitcher. And Mauer takes a walk. They're loaded up for Vargas. Vargas has had quite an impact already in this Twins lineup. And one would think with the trade of Josh Willingham, more will be expected, or more will be available to analyze.
I think what it does is it creates an opportunity for this young man to get a lot of at-bats the rest of the year. Unless he absolutely tanks, he's going to be in the lineup almost every day the rest of the year now.
A deep drive to right down the line. And foul. Eight runs batted in 9 games, and he nearly made it 12-10. Just missing the foul pole. To the inside corner, 0-2. Peacock on the ropes here in the first inning. Nice block by Castro, 1-2.
If we've seen a weakness at all with Kenny Vargas, it's the slow breaking ball that stays down. Sometimes it's hard for him to wait long enough, but that depends on how hard a guy throws too. So far it doesn't look like Peacock is really throwing all that hard.
Vargas flares a 93-mile-per-hour fastball away.
One of his better fastballs right there, down and away.
One and two. High fastball got him. Vargas fans, and that'll bring up Blue.
You got him to go out of the zone with that high fastball. We'll get another look at it right here. See the catcher Castro sets up high and it goes up and away even further.
Plouffe moved up from 7th to 5th after the trade was announced.
Trevor's been batting third at times with Joe Mauer out of the lineup, but now that Joe's back, he'll resume his spot at third in the order.
Breaking ball away, ball one. He goes after a high fastball, 1-1. We either have a big thunderstorm, lightning storm going on outside, or it's a moderate thunderstorm, and things kind of echo inside the ballpark here.
Or there's a lot of people that didn't have supper yet, and they stomachs are making a little noise. I think we just need a lightning bolt here. We need a charge inside the ballpark. Score a couple runs.
There you go. 2-1. Plouffe back in the lineup. Did not play yesterday in Oakland after fouling a ball off his foot on Saturday. Some of the intrigue regarding the roster spot that would be opened up for Joe Mauer involved Plouffe and whether he'd be able to play tonight. A high fastball, another swing and a miss. 2-2. The other player involved in the drama, if you will, was Oswaldo Arcia.
Yeah, and he's had a little bit of a sore back. I get a kick out of Gardy, and he has to do it with the media when they haven't announced anything, especially a trade, because you got to notify the players first. But I knew that Plouffe was good to go. I saw him out early, and I saw Arcia doing his work early.
Popped up down the right field line. It'll be chased by Grossman, and he can't make the play.
Just out of Grossman's reach, so Trevor will get another pop at it.
2-2 the count.
But Gardy was trying to put a little smoke screen up for all the writers, saying that he had to wait till batting practice was over to determine whether Plouffe and Arcia would be good to go, or if they would have to possibly DL one of them. Well, one of them, the indications was they already had Plouffe written in the lineup, so it wouldn't have been him. Either case, it was all about Willingham trade.
2-2 to Plouffe. Foul tip out of Castro's mitt.
Twins need to take advantage right here early in this ball game. Peacock has really struggled in the last 3 outings, and there's no reason to believe that you couldn't put a couple on the board right here and chase them to the showers early.
Pitch number 22. Driven to the right field corner, and again twisting foul and back into the seats. Josh Willingham was penciled in to hit 5th tonight, and let the record show that in his next to last at bat as a Twin in Oakland yesterday, he hit an awfully big home run.
Helped win a ball game.
Another 2-2 to Plouffe. Another foul back.
You never know how this game evolves. But that home run could have convinced the Royals just enough to say, you know what, if this guy goes on waivers, which he went on, they claimed him. They were the first team to be able to claim him. And then the trade was made, and it could all have been because of that one at bat.
Toward the hole. Nice pickup by Petit. Plouffe beats the relay. And 1 run will score. It's Santana scoring, Dozier going to 3rd. And the Astros nearly pulled off an inning-ending double play. Credit Plouffe with a run batted in. Even if Singleton had fielded the throw cleanly, Plouffe had the relay beaten. And that'll leave it to Kurt Suzuki.
Gives you a good indication, though, why Jose Altuve has been an all-star, or was an all-star this year. What a great young player he is. He really got rid of that ball quickly at second base.
1 on the board, more to get if Suzuki can deliver a hit here. Breaking ball on the outside corner. Suzuki delivered maybe the biggest hit of the ball game late. His double high off the wall in left center, right in front of Willingham's home run in Oakland. And Suzuki hasn't gotten a hit yet in tonight's game. He hasn't caught a pitch, yet his fingerprints are all over this game. He gave Tommy Milone the highest recommendation he could when asked about Milone when the Twins were considering obtaining the left-hander. Had caught him, of course, in Oakland. 1-1. That's to left center field, headed to the gap. And a running catch made by Marisnick. Twins get a couple of hits and a walk to start the inning. They score once to take a 1-0 lead. But we have the roof over Minute Maid Park. Bo Porter, former Hawkeye football and baseball player out of the University of Iowa, has his team playing better baseball this year. But still a long ways to go. The Menard batting order for the Astros. Robbie Grossman leading off. Jose Altuve batting second. Chris Carter third. Matt Dominguez, Jason Castro, Domingo Santana, John Singleton, Jake Marisnick, and Gregorio Petit.
That lineup will be facing new Twins pitcher, left-hander Tommy Milone. He's making his 17th start of this year. First as a Twin. You see his numbers. Very good ERA. Won 6 straight games before being demoted in Oakland. So it'll be interesting to see if he can pick up right where he left off here in the major leagues.
And I think it's important to make the distinction. He was not demoted because of ineffectiveness or poor pitching.
Obviously not.
They acquired an all-star pitcher in Jeff Samardzija and sent Milone down to Sacramento. Prior to the trade, he said, you know, I really want to go elsewhere. I'm a major league pitcher. I don't feel like I should be pitching in AAA. And then over the course of time, that's exactly what happened. 3-0 now to the opening batter, Robbie Grossman. Grossman, Altuve, and Carter. There's the outside corner. Veteran Bob Davidson behind the plate. Former UMD Bulldog. On the line, what am I saying? Once you're a Bulldog, you're always a Bulldog. At least that's what the Bulldogs I know tell me. 3-2. Bill Welke, James Hoy, and Adrian Johnson, the base umpires.
Davidson must be old because he was around when I was getting out of the game, so he's got to be an old timer.
Fouled back. Still 3-2.
Kind of makes me feel young. See, I'm not that far removed when I still see umpires.
Another 3-2 to Grossman. On the outside corner. 3 pitches outside the strike zone, and then nothing but strikes afterward. And his first at bat ends in a strikeout, looking 1 down.
Good job to come back after going 3 balls and no strikes. And Kurt Suzuki does a nice job of maybe framing that ball on the outer corner. But one thing about Tommy Milone, he did not give in at all. He threw the 3-0 pitch on the outside corner. So that's the kind of pitcher he is. He's not going to give in and throw you a cookie down the middle.
There's the outside corner again. Twins have got spot starts from Logan Darnell and Chris Johnson, farmhands at AAA. That's a deep drive, and we got a tie game. Whoa. Jose Altuve, it's his 5th. A no-doubter. And it's 1-1.
Interesting lay of a ballpark here. You've got the arches, and then you've got all sorts of crazy dimensions in left field. You got a center field that's kind of a city block type thing that's squared up, and yet the ramp goes up in center field. But this particular ball goes all the way up to the train tracks where the Minute Maid train is now going. You can see it cleared the tracks up there.
So 1 apiece, and now Chris Carter down and away, ball 1. Carter with tremendous power, 354 at bats, 25 home runs, but a ton of strikeouts. 2-0.
And Chris Carter's always been that kind of guy. When he played for the A's and other teams, it seemed like he lived on potential power, and yet he always struck out a lot. There's been guys over the years like him. Rob Deere comes to mind back in our era. Tettleton was another switch hitting catcher that struck out a lot but swung hard in case he hit it.
He struck out 124 times. Mike Trout and Chris Davis are ahead of him in the American League. 3-1. And he missed. Carter draws a walk. That'll bring up Dominguez. Northland 4 defense for the Twins. In the original lineup, Jordan Schaefer was in right field, but with Willingham's trade, Schaefer moves to left. Santana in center, Chris Parmalee in right. Plouffe, Escobar, Dozier, and Maurer around the infield with Suzuki catching, his former battery mate in Oakland.
Yeah, Schaefer shifts over to left because Parmalee was not originally going to be playing, and Chris is more suited for right field.
Dominguez, the batter. Strike at the knees. Second first pitch strike for Malone. Escobar fires to second, out there, and no play at first. Fine play by Escobar, cutting that ball off after Plouffe lunged for it, and they got the lead runner for out number 2.
See this play again. Gets by Plouffe, kind of looks like they almost deflected it, but Escobar doing a great job of staying with the ball, keeping his eye on it. He flips it to Dozier, and they get the lead runner.
Jason Castro will hit with 2 men out. Malone made 1 start for Rochester, pitching on his turn, his regular turn here tonight, just pitching in the big leagues, not for AAA. Ball 1. Similarly, Kevin Correa, who was dealt to the Dodgers to make room for Malone, making his first start for the Dodgers tonight. So far, 1 run allowed to the Braves over 4 innings. Over the inside corner, 1-1. Astros 2.5 games ahead of the Texas Rangers in the American League West. Texas has fallen on hard times with injuries and other issues. Popped up, and Suzuki, who lost one in Oakland, sees this one, makes the catch to end the inning. Altuve with a home run to tie the game at 1. With that in mind, the Twins loaded the bases with nobody out, got just 1 run out of it in the first, and then Jose Altuve tied the game with a home run. Chris Parmelee will lead off the second, followed by Eduardo Escobar and Jordan Schaefer. 1 strike to Parmelee. Now 1-1. Two and 1.
All right, copy. Come on now. JC, come on.
Willingham's trade should open up more opportunities for Chris Parmelee as well. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Parmelee, a corner outfield, first base. DH type. First base figures to be manned by Mauer. The DH spot typically by Vargas. So the corner outfield spots would be where Parmelee would fit in. There's a pitch fouled over the screen.
For a lot of Josh Willingham fans, Minnesota Twins fans, that are probably wondering, well, why would they trade Willingham? I guess the best way to describe it is you got to look and evaluate your team right now. And are you a contending team? Do you have a chance of making postseason right now this year? And then you look at the future, and you probably don't see him fitting in because of his contract, where he is, and what his production's been. So you have to evaluate it. Now, we've talked about it off the air that almost every player no matter how good you are, gets thrown through waivers this time of year to kind of assess your value on the market, see who might be interested in you. And in this case, the Twins probably looked at Willingham and said, you know, he's probably not a part of our future next year, so let's give these guys, the Parmelees and the Vargases, more at-bats.
Parmelee chases a high fastball, much like Vargas did. One down. That'll bring up Escobar. Time for you to tweet your photo using #NorthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. Eduardo Escobar, the batter. Escobar raised his average a couple of points in Oakland. Ball one. First three batters reached against Peacock. Now he has essentially retired 4 men in a row. Run scoring on close fielder's choice. That's a fair ball. That should be extra bases. Maybe not. Escobar will try. Grossman's throw, not in time. Another double for Eduardo Escobar.
Just all hustle right there. He had made up his mind about 10 steps out of the box that he was going to go for second base no matter what, and it did ricochet right into the right fielder, Robbie Grossman, so he really had to get on his horse and put on the gas right about here. And he didn't even hesitate. Good throw, and he still beat it there. So great hustle, good at bat. Escobar just continuing to impress people here.
30 doubles, the same number as Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera, and Dustin Pedroia. And that'll bring up Jordan Schaefer. Schaefer obtained by the Twins from Atlanta, but briefly property of the Astros here. Just a handful of at-bats. He's hit the ball hard a few times. .313 batting average. Takes a strike, 1-1.
We were talking about Brad Peacock and how the Twins had him on the ropes in the first inning. Only were able to put one man across the plate. You'll sometimes see that where a younger pitcher struggling early, really looks like he could get blown out of the game. Then he finds his rhythm a little bit, gets a little more confidence.
That's to short center.
Played perfect.
Caught by Marisnik. 2 down. We'll bring up Santana. Target Field's become the top choice for families throughout Twins territory for all kinds of special occasions and commemorations. Groups of 25 or more qualify for special ticket discounts and can reserve certain seats without a deposit. Organize your family group outing at Target Field and find out more at twinsbaseball.com/groups or call 800-33-TWINS. Santana dropped a single into right field to start the ball game. Scored the Twins run. Hoping to deliver a 2-out hit here to put the Twins back in front. Shot off a foot. Foul. 1 strike. .223 at bats, 71 hits. 22 extra base hits. 10 steals and 12 tries. And all of that while playing what you have to call a secondary position. This guy's a shortstop.
Secondary position that he's turned into a very good, above average secondary position player in center field.
I'd like at some point for him to hit one up to Cal's Hill in center field. You got 3 games to do it. I just want to see him run the bases here with the ball rolling to the 436 marker or the flagpole. swing and a miss. Castro keeps it in the dirt.
The most unique feature of this outfield, granted the grass and how it goes uphill in center field is one of them, with the foul pole in play. You see that foul pole and the padding around it. Only Old Tiger Stadium had a similar foul pole, but the unique part is in left field, where it literally goes straight out and then straight back, so the left fielder could tuck around a corner and we wouldn't even see him. And he's still in left center field.
2 strikes to Santana. It's a high fly to right. Retreating is Grossman. And still on the grass, makes the catch to end the inning. Escobar doubles. He's left the board. It's still 1 apiece.
Marnie Gellner. Tommy Milone starts his second inning of work as a member of the Minnesota Twins. We have 3 things to know about Tommy, courtesy of Kurt Suzuki, his catcher tonight, and his catcher with the Oakland A's. Kurt told me that Tommy is a Southern California guy. He's laid back, he's really calm, but that he also has some great one-liners, and they really catch you by surprise because of his personality. They really come out of nowhere. Also, Milone is a very polite young man, and I can attest to that because I rode the bus on the way over, which usually consists of media members and some front office members, maybe 8 people today, plus the starting pitcher. Tommy Milone was the last one on the bus. He stopped at every seat and shook every person's hand and said, "Hi, I'm Tommy. Nice to meet you." So, Dick and Bert, I think we have a class act on our hands here. Dick and Jack, sorry about that,
That's
Jack.
all right. It's all right. It sure looks that way, and he's come very highly endorsed by Suzuki. There's a strike on the outside corner. 1-2 to Domingo Santana.
Those West Coast guys, they kind of hang together. One guy lives on a rock out in the middle of the ocean. The other guy lives on the beach on the West Coast. So they're buddies.
That, incredibly, with Santana going back, he's now 0 for 14 with 12 strikeouts.
Ouch.
0 for 14 with a dozen strikeouts. 1 down. Here's the Mall of America scouting report on the new Twins left hand.
Well, Tommy Milone, he's got a fastball, a cutter, a changeup, and a curveball. The cutter is a pitch he likes to throw backdoor to a right-hander, and he'll throw the changeup pretty much any time. Kurt Suzuki's saying to me that this is a guy that has great command, and he's liable to throw any pitch in any situation, but he typically throws that cutter backdoors a right-hander. In other words, he likes to bring it in off the left-handed hitter's batter's box and catch the outside corner to right-handers. Of course, the sweeping cutter to left-handers.
2-0 now to Singleton, another big strikeout guy. 209 at bats, 84 strikeouts. Astros have already struck out over 1,000 times this year. Big swing on 2-0 and a foul ball. Chris Carter, 124 strikeouts. Castro, 113. Springer on the disabled list, 114.
You must have a philosophy as a hitting coach and manager to allow that to happen. In other words, don't get cheated. Go ahead and take a rip even when you're behind in the count, instead of maybe shorten it up and try to make contact with the ball in play. You see so many of these guys taking those big power swings, home run type swings with 2 strikes, and that's conducive to a lot of strikeouts.
A finesse pitcher on the mound, Malone. See what he gives Singleton here on 2-2. Kloof will charge it barehanded. Tried to anyway. It's an infield hit for Singleton. On a check swing. A 1-out single. And that will bring up Marisnik.
Yes, right there, Malone made a very good pitch. Really surprised Singleton with the fastball away. Just sort of a defensive hurry up and try to make contact. It just so happens that it's in a spot that really not much Trevor can do. Even if he fielded that ball, I think Singleton would have beat it out. It'll go down as a hit.
Now Marisnik. 34 at bats. 8 hits, including a double. There's a push bunt. Malone has time. And now the ball gets out of Mauer's glove. Dozier will back it up. And Malone's throw right over the base. Mauer had it in his glove and then had it knocked out of his glove by Marisnik.
They're going to give Marisnik a hit here. And this is simply a case where Malone took a little too long to get the ball out of his glove. Gardy's out arguing that maybe he was in the baseline. But Joe Mauer's got to really give him a target off the line. He's got to get his foot on the bag and get just set out way outside the line so that he has a throwing lane where it's clear between him and the base runner. He threw it up the line. Joe had to reach around the runner. Marisnik got down the line pretty well himself.
A bunt, an error charge to Malone. Second and third, 1 out for Gregorio Petit. And Malone in a situation now where he'd love to get a strikeout. Middle infield, back corner infielders even with their bases. And Petit takes a strike. So far, a couple of strikeouts. The 2 leadoff batters in each inning have struck out. An infield hit, a bunt single, an error. The Astros have a threat here in the second. 1-1. Singleton reached on a check swing. Marisnik with a bunt. Wide of the plate, 2-1.
See that both Suzuki and Malone are trying to work the outer part of the plate. Petit staying away, hoping that if he does swing, he'll roll over a ground ball.
Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Staying away again.
Malone will top out with his fastball in the upper 80s. This is not, you were making a separate comparison talking about John Lester. This is not a John Lester.
Well, not a fastball.
Right.
Correct.
But he hits his spots, moves the ball in and out. Let's see if he can deliver a big pitch here to pick up a big strikeout. Just missed the outside corner to fill the count.
I'll say this about Malone, though. He's a guy that, because he kind of lulls you to sleep with all the slow stuff, that an 87-mile-an-hour fastball can at times appear to a hitter in the low 90s. It gets up on you really quickly, because you're seeing so many slow curves and cutters and changeups.
Now a walk to the number 9 batter. Got ahead of Petit, ended up walking him. Second walk, first time through the order for Malone. And they're loaded up now for Robbie Grossman. Grossman called out on strikes his first time up.
Infield's going to play halfway. Malone's going to need a ground ball hit right at somebody in the infield to try to turn 2.
Grossman runs pretty well. Tough guy to double up, you'd think. Just 4 ground ball double plays on the year. Ball 1.
So far, Tommy Malone just having a tough time locating in the outer half of the plate. He's staying away from almost every one of these right-handers, but he's missing off the plate.
Could be 2. 1, 2, double play. Mauer digs out a low throw, and Malone has given up just 1 well-hit ball through 2 innings, but he survives a scare in the second. Sports North is presented by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealers today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. Twins hoping to catch the White Sox, get out of last place in their division, a division that now has a completely different complexion than it had a week ago. The Tigers in the last 3 days have put a couple of key players on the disabled list, and tonight Justin Verlander lasted 1 inning, gave up 5 runs, and left with shoulder soreness. The Pirates are leading the Tigers 8-1, and the Royals are leading the A's 2-0 early in Kansas City. And the day started with the Tigers leading the Royals by just a half game. Dozier takes up and in, and it's 1-1.
Got to be a lot of excitement in Kansas City right now. This team is playing very well. The Royals, Tigers just the other direction right now. And boy, if Verlander went down with an injury, what a dramatic change of events that would be in Detroit.
Fly ball to right, playable by Grossman, 1 down. And that'll bring up Mauer. And we mentioned when Joe came to the plate the first time up, the Twins went 15-20 in his absence. And you can't help but think at those numbers, and any team, the Astros, the Rangers, anybody could go 20-15, right? If you can go 15-20, you can win 5 more games.
You hope.
Yeah. if the Twins had gone 20-15, which shouldn't be too much to ask, they'd be 57-59, or just about right where the Cleveland Indians are. So just the modest play, good play over an extended period of time would get the Twins in the vicinity of where they wanted to be. But all that said, that's been one of the biggest issues for this Twins team. Little short bursts of good play, a little 3-game winning streak, then the 4-game losing streak. You know, and that's been one of the issues. 1-1. Mauer takes high.
Well, the thing that I look at is how they do against the contending teams. They lost the series against the Royals in Kansas City. Kansas City kind of has been on a roll. Oakland playing very good baseball. They lose 3 out of 4 to Oakland.
Right.
And then they win games against the White Sox. Again, they're above them in their own division.
It's foul.
But the White Sox bullpen has just been horrendous. And they should win this series. I mean, if they're going to be a team moving up, they should win the series here in Houston. This is a team, the Houston Astros, that have a worse record than the Twins.
Two and two to Mauer with 1 gone in the third. Hit well to left field. Santana going back, and that ball is high off the wall. Santana has it bounce past him. Marisnik picks it up, but Mauer spanks a double off the scoreboard.
Another look at the swing by Joe Mauer. Fastball away. He's able to lift it. He just didn't know at the time whether it was going to carry or not. It did. Just a couple feet away from the top of that wall.
And now Kenny Vargas struck out. A high fastball. Came up with the bases loaded, nobody out. And Peacock was able to ring him up. And ended up keeping the damage to a minimum at just 1 run. Off-speed pitch over for a strike. Even with Mauer at second, the Astros employ an infield shift. Mauer looking over his right shoulder at Petit.
Doesn't really have to look over.
There's a ball squirted off the side of the mound, and Vargas will beat out the throw for an infield hit, sending Mauer to third. He hit that ball right off the end of the bat. Second time in as many games we've seen Vargas get an infield hit against the shift. No matter the occasion, Target Field is Twins territory headquarters to entertain groups of 25 or more. It might be a family celebration, a church outing, or an event to raise funds for your organization. Simply reserve your best guess number of seats and pay only for those you need when the time comes. Find out more by visiting twinsbaseball.com or call 800-33-TWINS. Here's Plouffe. Drove in a run with a ground ball his first time up. Down and away. Ball 1. Plouffe driving in his 55th run of the year. That ties his career high from 2 years ago. 2-0. Don't forget, last year Plouffe had his batting average climbed to 254. Can get it up that high again easily with a strong final month and a half. Outside corner, he can hit 14 home runs as he did a year ago. He's got to go some to get there. Will drive in more runs than he drove in last year. I think where he's improved is in the field.
Well, his throwing in the field especially. Become very accurate with his throwing arm.
2-1. Missed 2-2.
You know, Dick, as Vargas got that base hit, it just reminded me of the movie Bull Durham, where the lead character is explaining to one of his teammates the difference between a 250 hitter and a 300 hitter. And it's just those kind of hits, the one that falls in. It's not those nice swing, you really laid a good piece of wood on that one and hit a line drive right at somebody. It's the one that finds the hole.
3-2.
You've got to have a little luck in this game too. You've got to be good, but a little luck never hurt anybody.
And it's got to feel good when you're here for 40 at bats, whatever it is, they put a shift on you and you end up beating the shift.
Well, he's done it twice now. And not necessarily intentionally, he just happened to be able to hit the ball that way.
Full count to Plouffe. Popped up near first. And in foul territory, Singleton makes the catch, 2 down. A chronic problem for the Twins this year has been capitalizing in scoring situations. They didn't do it in the first, and now it's up to Suzuki to get it done here in the third.
Had bases loaded, nobody out in the first, and only were able to plate one runner. With one out in the third here, they've had runners at first and third. Now 2 outs.
Nice block by Castro. Ball 1. This will be the 60th pitch for Peacock. Twins have had a runner in scoring position, at least one in every inning.
They really got center fielder Jake Marisnick shifted way over to the right side. You don't see that type of shift on Suzuki very often. He can pull the ball and hit the gap in left center, but that might be an indication of where they want to pitch him. And they're going to probably pitch him away.
Now, if you're a hitter, you have to notice that, don't you?
Well, you would, you know, especially a catcher who is very aware of positioning of the fielders and what he should be doing with his pitcher on location, because you don't want to put a shift on and then pitch him in the wrong spot. In this case, they're shifting him to right. You've got to throw the ball away from him, hoping that he'll hit it that way.
Swing and a miss. 1-2. And now Vargas thought that was the third strike, and Castro didn't know what to do with the ball.
Well, Mauer was standing on third, and it looked like Vargas was dead meat in between first and second, but Altuve never really got in position where he could throw to second. Castro had to keep his eye on third base, and you can see the dilemma he has right there. He's got to get rid of the ball a little quicker. Vargas was able to sneak back and then dive to a belly flop and get back safely.
1-2 to Suzuki. And now 2-2. That should have been the third out.
Absolutely should have been.
See if the Twins can take advantage. Castro just froze.
Castro's got to get rid of that ball to his first baseman right away. At least that will cause something to happen. If Mauer breaks, they throw it back to Castro. They get Mauer in a rundown. But if Mauer stays put, you get Vargas in the rundown. Twins caught a break there.
2-2 to Suzuki. Popped up near the Astros dugout. And out of play. Well, this is one of those situations where you do need to make the other team pay for a mistake. Twins made one, but potentially the Astros made a bigger one by not getting the third out. Suzuki will have another swing on 2-2.
This game is so full of statistics, errors being one of them, but there's no statistic for mental errors.
Yep.
Pitch count for Brad Peacock.
3-2. Parmalee on deck. Now Vargas can take off. If you're going to take off on 1-2, or a 2-1, you better take off on 3-2.
Make sure he goes home first. That's, I'm sure, what Paul Molitor is telling him.
Suzuki lifts a fly ball left center field. Santana calls for it, makes the catch. The Twins again threaten 2 hits, but nothing across. It's still 1 apiece.
Trevor Bluth hits into a force fielder's choice right there that drives in Danny Santana with the Twins' first run back in the first inning. Jose Altuve just crushes a fastball away over the train tracks in left field. That gives the Astros their 1 run. Tommy Milone's kind of settled in, gets a strikeout after 2 runners reach, and then gets this key double play. Dozier over to Escobar, back to Mauer to get out of the 3rd inning.
Jose Altuve will lead things off in the 3rd. It was Altuve who hit the home run to tie the game at 1 on the bottom of the 1st. Strike 1. The Astros are going to be finishing with a better record this year than the last several years. There's still a lot of work to do, but central to any rebuilding project, lifted foul into the seats, individual players who emerge, and Altuve has emerged this year. He might very well be the American League batting champion this year. Entered the game with a 5-point lead over Robinson Cano and an 11-point lead over Michael Brantley.
Has a legitimate chance to get 200 hits in the season, and that is impressive. There's another one.
He's got 2 already tonight. On an 0-2 pitch, he singles to center. His 162nd hit of the year. He's leading the league in stolen bases by plenty. 46 steals. The next closest to him in the league, Jacoby Ellsbury, with 30. And Altuve, of course, represented the Astros at Target Field in the All-Star game. Carter drew a walk. A high fly to center, and Santana will go back, still in front of the hill, to make the catch. Altuve's going to try. Here's the throw, and Altuve safe at second. Great hustle by the Houston second baseman. Santana's got a good arm, and he delivered an accurate 1-hop throw. But there he stands, Altuve at second after a deep fly ball.
That's just knowing your personal speed and knowing where the ball's hit. and not even worrying about a guy's arm. Altuve tags up because he sees how far that ball's hit, almost to the warning track and straightaway center, and he knows I can make it. He tags up, takes a chance, and beats the throw to second. He's just a good all-around ball player. There's so many things that he does for this team.
Here's Dominguez, a runner at second, one down. Strike on the outside corner.
You know, Dick, the 40-some stolen bases, that in itself is so rare in this age. And I say this about those kind of guys. They're willing to sacrifice their body. They take abuse to slide that many times. Altuve's not a big man. In fact, he's short. But he's got great speed, and he has to have a very strong body to slide that many times.
And it's not just the slides into second base. For every stolen base, how many times do you think he has to dive back to first base?
Exactly. How many times he's attempted pickoffs. So he's getting banged up. And yet still has 162 hits.
Dominguez with a 1-1 count. 2-1. Dominguez hit a ground ball to Escobar, made a nice play to get the force out at second base. Astros have had opportunities to score too. And the bases loaded, one out in the second. Malone got a double play grounder. Driven to right center field. Santana with a nice running catch. Altuve was playing it halfway. He has to retreat. A lot of coverage out there in center by Santana for out number 2. Fox Sports Supports is proud to support Stand Up to Cancer's 4th annual star-studded telecast. Catch the fundraiser featuring music performances and stars from film, TV, and sports in a momentous and inspiring stand against cancer on September 5th at 7 Central on Fox Sports 2. Jason Castro, the batter. One other note regarding Altuve and how he has emerged as one of the best players in the league. Twins had a world championship team in '87, another one in 1991. The only other Twins team in history to win a playoff series was the 2002 team that beat the A's in the playoffs. A little bit low, ball 1. The seeds for that championship, I always felt, were planted in the offseason or during the 2001 season when Doug Minkiewicz and Torrey Hunter each won Gold Glove awards. In other words, the Twins had an identity as a really good defensive team. That's one of the reasons they won the championship the next year. Now, granted, we weren't even sure the Twins were going to play in 2002 with the threat of contraction, but out of years of anonymity, here were some guys, some individuals that emerged and were nationally recognized as some of the very best at their position.
Well, for so many years, the Houston Astros have been in the cellar and almost forgotten about in baseball. And then all of a sudden, Jose Altuve shows up, and to your point, is recognized for what he's accomplished, and that puts the Houston Astros on the map again.
Becomes Jose Altuve and the Astros, 2-1. Castro was an all-star the year before. Swing and a foul. They got a piece of Suzuki. 2-2. This will be Malone's 50th pitch.
He misfired a little bit in the first 2 innings. He's usually a little more efficient with his pitch number.
Chopper, foul. Still 2-2. Oakland's tied up Kansas City. A couple of runs in the 3rd inning. Johnny Ventura starting for the Royals. Sonny Gray for the A's. 2-2. Malone trying to keep this a 1-1 game. Off the end of the bat, Dozier gets in front of it. Sets and fires, and that ends the third. On to the fourth, one apiece. Scoring on an Altuve home run. I guess one thing that's nice to see, I'm sure if you're out there you don't want to have guys on base, but it's nice to see a Twin starter pitch effectively with men on base and getting some outs to keep some of those innings from mushrooming out of control. Chris Parmalee will lead off the fourth. We'll see if maybe in the fourth Malone can start picking up some 1, 2, 3 innings along the way. Ball one.
Most starters in today's game have figured out a way to get out of some jams.
Twins are 1 for 8 with men in scoring position, and their one was Vargas's squibber that simply advanced Mauer from second to third. Parmalee again goes after a high fastball and misses. It's 1-1. Parmalee struck out starting the second. Peacock went upstairs a couple of times in that at bat.
Through 3 innings, the Twins have already left 5 runners on base.
Chopper, foul.
Houston 4 runners on base through 3 innings.
Tigers trying to come back. It's 8-4 in the 6th. Justin Verlander left after 1 inning with shoulder soreness. If you just joined us, the closest pursuer to the Tigers, the Kansas City Royals, picked up Josh Willingham today. And one would imagine Willingham won't be spending much time in left field replacing Alex Gordon. Instead, he'll be DHing, splitting time, one would think, with Billy Butler. Eric Hosmer's out for a while now. Butler playing some at first base. And so Royals did need a bat. And as big as the ballpark is in Kansas City, Willingham, he can hit them out there.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious that the defense for the outfield in Kansas City probably doesn't have room for Josh Willingham, but his bat is welcome. They've got a very good defensive team in the outfield.
2-2 to Parmalee, and on a personal note, Josh and his family were just wonderful assets to the Twins organization. On a personal level, I think anybody who's gotten to know Josh is really going to miss him. We'll see him in the next homestand. He'll just be in the other clubhouse. Breaking ball bends over the outside corner, and Parmalee is out on strikes for the second time.
Look at the pitch that struck out Chris Parmalee. like he might have circled the plate. Home plate umpire Bob Davidson thought it was a strike.
Escobar doubled down the right field line his first time up. Escobar takes ball one. 30 doubles on the year for Escobar. 2-0.
I think it's safe to say that he's been a very pleasant surprise to this team. I don't know if anybody would have predicted the kind of year that Escobar has had for the Twins, but he's been very, very solid defender at shortstop and at third base at times, a couple games at second base. But maintain that average, and like you say, 30 doubles. You know, he's a guy that can get in scoring position. He's a very good base runner. He runs well. Very positive attitude.
Right now at 277, he's hitting about 50 points higher than his career batting average. He came into the season with a 228 career batting average.
First year, though, that he's really had a chance to play on an everyday basis.
And he has split his hitting proficiency evenly. Coming into the game, hitting 277 right-handed, 274 left-handed. He's already got a hit left-handed here tonight. 3-2, doesn't walk much. There's 19 times on the year. And another foul into the seats. Schaefer on deck. He's trying to get some run production from the bottom of the order. He's done it again. Can he get two more? Grossman's throw, not in time. Double number 31. Almost a carbon copy of the first double. The ball boy ran out of the way. The carom hit to the same spot in the field. Picked up by Grossman.
We need to do that trick stuff they do in TV where they can superimpose one over the other.
We're going to try.
Because when he rounded first, he had the exact same intention as he did his first time. He puts his head down, doesn't even look at Grossman, and he's saying, I dare you to throw me out. Great hustle.
See what Schaefer can do this time after Escobar's one-out double.
You know, if we would show you his doubles and we mixed them up, you wouldn't know what inning it was.
That's right.
Show the scoreboard.
One strike.
Well, again, the Twins have a chance to plate a runner here with a base hit.
Pulled foul, 2 strikes. We should go back to yesterday's game in the 7th inning. Eduardo Nunez was at third base with 1 out. Schaefer was at the plate, and he tried to drop down a bunt to get Nunez in from third base. Play didn't work out very well. Schaefer bunted through the ball, and Nunez was caught in a rundown between third and home. Schaefer apparently did that on his own. It was not called from the dugout. He just was 1 for 17 against left-handers. He thought that was his best chance to get the guy in, using the element of surprise. And boy, did he surprise people, including Eduardo Nunez.
Well, Nunez, you know, it appeared to him that the ball was already down because he broke so hard.
But the element of surprise is only good if one team is surprised. If you're surprising both teams, then Nunez didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to react. It was the last thing he was expecting.
I have a feeling Nunez thought that maybe he missed the suicide. Either case, it was a blunder.
2 strikes to Schaefer. Foul back. We've seen Peacock go upstairs to get a couple of strikeouts. Schaefer was able to get a piece of it.
Talking before the game to the radio analyst Steve Sparks about their pitching staff, and Steve was telling me that their pitching coach Brent Strom has really encouraged a lot of these pitchers to climb the ladder when they're ahead, challenge the hitters up in the zone with their fastballs.
Another 0-2 to Schaefer. Chop foul. Challenge them up in the zone, or at times even
out of the zone.
Zone. That's what happened to Vargas in the first, Parmalee in the second. To put a runner in scoring position again here in the fourth. But so far again are just 1 for 8. Off the plate, 1 and 2. One and 2 to the Twins left fielder. 2 and 2. Schaefer trying to do from the position player standpoint what Malone is trying to do from the pitching standpoint. Get off to a fresh start in a new organization, but the distinction being Schaefer's really struggled when he's been in the big league, struggled getting hits. Malone is not. Malone's an accomplished major league pitcher. 2 and 2. And a called third strike, 2 down. Second strikeout of the inning, both on called third strikes. That'll bring up Santana. Carsoup.com trivia question. Which pitcher has the most all-time wins in the franchise history of the Houston Astros, which includes the Colt 45 days?
Oh.
Here is Santana, a single, a run scored, and a fly ball to right. Over the inside corner, a strike. Hitting at 379 with men in scoring position. Swing and a miss, 0 and 2. Peacock gave up a run. Could have been a lot worse in the first. Left a runner at second in the second inning. Runners on the corners in the third. Trying to strand Escobar at second here in the fourth. Long looking. Now everybody's ready. Nice block again by Castro. 1 and 2. Same pitch that Santana swung at for strike 2, and he laid off to make it 1 and 2.
This one a little bit further inside. Danny Santana loves the ball down and in as a left-handed hitter, and yet a lot of the scouting reports are saying throwing breaking balls, and it's when he chases them out of the zone that he gets in trouble.
Lays off that high fastball. Worked a couple of times early in the ball game, and even Schaefer was able to lay off that pitch a couple times.
Changing the eye angle to the hitter is what they're trying to accomplish by throwing that fastball up, hoping that they just can't lay off it and they chase it. It's hard to stay on top of a high fastball with 2 strikes.
squirted, and this is going to be a tough play for Petit. And he just about got Escobar rounding the third base bag. That's a heads-up play by Petit, who realized he had no chance to get Santana. And he threw to Dominguez and nearly gave Escobar a heart attack.
That was a very smart play by the shortstop right there. Ball squibbling off the end of the bat. You can see him just cue ball it off the end. And he realized no way is he going to get Santana. But if Escobar doesn't pay attention, he might round the bag. He was hoping that his third baseman would get over there, Matt Dominguez.
You could see Escobar as he was advancing to third looking over his shoulder, and now he's having a little fun with the middle infielders for the Astros. And I suppose Escobar's background as a middle infielder might have helped him out a little bit there, because that's something Escobar probably considered trying.
Got the runners on the corner now with 2 outs. Brian Dozier coming to the plate with another opportunity for the Twins to try to get that go-ahead run in.
Brent Strom has spoken his piece. Dozier with a double.
And again, the outfield is shifting to the right side. That tells me they're going to try to pitch Dozier away, which would make sense because he loves the ball on the inner half. See Castro setting up away.
Brian Dozier is about as much of a pull hitter as the Twins have had in a long time. I mean, he does not get many hits to the opposite field. So to see, as you pointed out, the outfield playing him rather harshly to hit it to the other way.
It gives you a good indication of what they want to do on the mound. Dozier's got to recognize that himself. Now they're coming hard in.
Singleton dropping tag on Santana a little late. And we've seen Dozier hit home runs down the left field line and wear out the left field corner.
Yeah,
and Santana right now is 100 feet from the line.
But the shortstop and second baseman are pulled, or excuse me, shortstop and third baseman are playing, guarding the line pretty much. Shortstop playing almost in the hole. So they've got him shifted around. Just a huge gap in left center. And really up the middle on the left side for Dozier.
1-1. He's trying to retake the lead here in the fourth. Again, Castro digs one out of the dirt. 2-1. Here's what we're talking about. 9 hits to right field, 23 from right center to left center, and
the majority is
3/4 of his hits just about pulled to left.
Peacock's got to recognize that Mauer, great eye at the plate, very good back control, so you've got to go after Dozier.
That's thrown away.
That could be a triple.
And now Singleton runs over first base umpire Bill Welke. Santana all the way to third, and the Twins will get a run. Singleton couldn't scoop the throw, and then he barreled into Bill Welke, and thankfully everyone appears to be okay. Welke says, hey, next time catch it. So finally it's an error on the pitcher that allows the Twins to take a 2-1 lead. Well, I don't know, how did Singleton not see Bill Welke standing right in front of him?
Well, Welke gave him a lane to run towards the ball too, and he was running up the line.
2-1 to Dozier. Breaking ball left up, 3-1. Mauer on deck.
Come on now, let's go. Come on.
Well, each starting pitcher's committed an error. Malone threw one up the line on a bunt play. And that pitch called a strike, but Peacock missed. That ball was over the inside corner, and we've seen Brian really punish those pitches. 3-2. ready for the second one. Guy came inside. Dozier pulled it foul. High fly to left center. Domingo Santana under it. The Twins don't get a 2-out hit. They are given a 2-out error and retake the lead 2-1. Stay tuned for this important message from Mesh Besher and Spence. Domingo Santana will lead off the fourth with Tommy Malone handed his second one-run lead. First one didn't last very long. Second batter hit a home run to tie it at 1. Santana, Singleton, and Marisnick here in the fourth inning. Off the outside corner. Young man is having a hard time making contact. 0 for 14 with 12 strikeouts.
Swinging out of the zone apparently also. But it's ironic to me, the Astros pick up a guy who is basically their power hitter, number 3 hitter, Chris Carter, who had that reputation himself. When he ran into him, the ball went a long way. But he strikes out a lot. So now you have 2 guys in the lineup kind of with the same reputation.
Well, Malone misses again. You want to throw this guy strikes. It's 3-1. Malone has walked 2 men, 1 each in the first 2 innings. Neither one figured in the scoring. Twins have somehow managed to score another run. They don't want to walk the leadoff guy. 3-2. Malone, what we remembered about him is what we've seen here tonight. He works the outer half of the plate. He'll come inside occasionally, but his bread and butter is to hit the outside corner. 0 for 15 with 13 strikeouts. 1 down. That'll bring up Singleton. Our Coors Cold Hard Fact. Guys who've worked together before with Oakland. 7-5 mark. ERA of under 3. Granted, the team they were playing on was pretty good during those years, but the 2.99 speaks pretty well as to how the pitcher does his job and how the catcher works with him. Singleton singled, ended up at third base in the second inning. That's it. I'm venture to say that there haven't been many balls hit by a left-handed batter where that one landed. One strike.
That's getting the bat head out early.
Motioning as if to bunt. Suzuki came out of the crouch and caught one high. 1-1. Two and one. "60 pitches for Malone, 35 strikes. And more 3-ball counts than I thought I'd see tonight.
Singleton takes a swing like he did on that first pitch, and then Malone just stays away. Trying to stay out of the power swing.
Up and in. He ends up walking. And nearly hit him. Third walk issued by Malone. That'll bring up Marisnick. Singleton hit a grand slam at Target Field in the series finale back in June. Marisnick singled. Dropped down a bunt. And Malone threw to first. And it looked as if the ball was in Mauer's glove for a while and then was knocked out by the runner. Malone was charged with an error. The Astros had the bases full with one out, but then Malone got a big double play grounder off the bat of Grossman. Singleton with 1 steal and 3 tries. 85 stolen bases for the Astros, but 46 of them are by Altuve. Base hit to left. And Singleton will check in at second. Another threat for the Astros. The Twins got a run in the first, and the Astros answered right away. Now the Twins scoring in the top of the fourth, and at least a threat in the bottom of the inning. Petit coming up.
Malone has not retired the Astros in order in any inning yet. His easiest inning was the third, where he gave a leadoff single to Altuve and then retired the next 3 guys. He's been under stress quite a bit here. Have to work out of jams.
He walked Petit to fill the bases in this spot. At the time, first base was open. Missing ball 1.
.64 pitches for Tommy Malone.
10 of 18 throwing a first pitch strike. There's the outside corner. Astros looking for their 50th win of the year tonight. Twins looking for win number 53. They're now fouled away 1-2. Malone picked up a couple of strikeouts early on. Struck out Santana, but he has only 3 strikeouts so far, and Santana striking out twice. Petit with 28 at bats, 6 strikeouts so far. Struck him out, 2 down.
Big out too right there.
And that'll bring up Robbie Grossman. Minnesota sports fans, make sure you stay up to date with all the latest events around the area, from your favorite hometown teams to the Fox Sports North girls. We've got you covered. Log on to foxsportsnorth.com. Click on the More tab for information. Grossman 0 for 2. Struck out looking to start the game for the Astros and then hit into a big double play. Hit a ball off the end of his bat to Dozier. A quick flip to Escobar, and the relay just in time to get the fleet-footed Grossman. Fox Tracks presented by Jeep. And a first pitch strike. Field. Parmalee back a few steps, and the Astros leave 2 more on in the 4th. On to the 5th. The Twins up 2-1.
Twins home games, bring your Circle Me signs, and if you get circled, you may find yourself in the Minnesota Lottery Winner's Circle, where you could win $100 worth of scratch-off lottery tickets, courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.
Well, between innings, you and I had a treat. The owner of the Astros came by to say hi.
I was just going to say, you are big, because that's never happened to me. So just hanging out with you, I get to meet influential people.
He had a couple of Minnesotans visiting down here who he knew. He wanted them to come by and meet Jack Morris, but he waited patiently back here during the entire.
I might buy into the fact that maybe they thought Bert was here, but because he wasn't, I got to believe it was you.
No, I don't believe that for a minute, but it was very nice of him. He sat in the back of our booth for like 10 minutes waiting to say hi. I recognized him, but that was a very nice gesture. We don't have owners of teams. All the years I did games at Yankee Stadium, the Steinbrenners never came by to say hi.
That's pretty cool. I'm speechless.
Mauer, Vargas, and Plouffe in the 5th. Twins trying to do what they can to knock Brad Peacock out of the game. They've started a whole bunch of scoring opportunities and have managed just 2 runs, and one of them was given to them. Twins don't have a run-producing hit. First run scored on a fielder's choice. Next run scored on an error. Tap foul, 2-2. Mauer doubled off the fence and left his second time up after walking in the first. Joe recovering from the oblique injury, which has become more and more prevalent. Adam Eaton of the White Sox is out with it now. Astros have had a couple of players with oblique pulls. Lashed to left center field. And coming in to make the play is Marisnik. A well hit ball by Mauer again for the first out. And that'll bring up Kenny Vargas. Twins have 7 hits. 2 of them have been hit right off the end of the bat. Santana's hit in the 4th, and Vargas is hit in the 3rd. To about the same spot on the field. When Vargas came up in the first inning, bases loaded, nobody out. His first swing nearly put the Twins up 4-0. Sent a drive down the right field line that missed the foul pole by feet, maybe inches. 1-1.
Oh, it would be inches if you convert.
It still would be inches. It could be 36 of them.
More
right.
Inches than feet.
You're right. See again. It's always a matter of inches, right?
There you go.
Any sport is a game of inches. There might be a lot of them.
Yeah.
Right? A field goal could be
yardage.
7 feet wide, but
Yeah.
that's still a game of inches. 1-2 to Vargas. Two and 2.
You can do it now. Come on. Let's go.
Vargas with his average at 308. And lifted foul.
One thing about Vargas making the jump from Double-A to the big leagues, not only is he going to see a different caliber of pitcher, but there are going to be some times where, in this case tonight, Peacock has really struggled with command, but yet he's found a way to make pitches when he has to.
Breaking ball tapped into the ground. Picked up by Altuve. 2 down. And they'll bring up Plouffe. Uh-oh. 3 words kids don't want to hear. Back to school. It's back to school weekend at Target Field. August 15th, 16th, and 17th, when the Twins host the Kansas City Royals. Each game, 5,000 fans, 14 and under, will pick up a cool magnet board presented by Target. For tickets, visit twinsbaseball.com or call 800-33-TWINS. I'll bet you were someone this time of the year, you were looking forward to going back to school.
I think it was just the way you said it, only I was listening to the Jaws music in the background. Dun, dun, dun. Oh no. Dun, dun, dun. Back to school.
1 strike to Plouffe. And now rounded over to the Astro dugout. 2 strikes.
There are kids that love school.
I think one of the attractions, whether you look forward to it or not, you do get a chance to catch up with, kids in school that you hadn't seen much of or at all over the course of the summer. 0-2 to Plouffe. That's grounded foul. But as I've said before, I grew up in a really small town. Kindergarten through 8th grade, we had a total of 7 kids. We knew what everybody else in town had been doing. We didn't have that benefit. We spent all summer, playing baseball with the other few boys in town or going fishing. He can't wait for school to get back in town, that young man.
Show off his new hairdo.
Popped up. Chased by Singleton. And again out of play. Twins leading here 2-1. It's not been a slugfest, although the Twins do have 7 hits and a couple of very well hit doubles. Plouffe trying to get something started. Neither starting pitchers had a 1-2-3 inning. And struck him out. And now Peacock has a 1-2-3 inning in the 5th. I do fans of the game. A lot of Twins fans here tonight in Houston. And that's the one good thing, I guess, about the Astros coming over to the American League. Fans in this area who are Twins fans will every year get a chance to see their favorite team now. I can't get used to it. I don't know about you. I still think of this as a National League city.
How about Milwaukee? Do you still think of them as an American League city?
Yeah, I do. I mean,
Yeah.
well, you know.
I don't anymore. And I played, when they were in the American League for years.
Right.
Them.
Here's Altuve, 2 hits, including a game-tying home run in the first inning. Altuve, Carter, and Dominguez facing Tommy Malone. Ball 1. Strike 1. That's to left center field. Santana reaches up to pull it down. 1 down. 1 away in the 5th. Let's find Marnie Kellner.
Guys, we mentioned Joe Mauer is back after his 6 weeks on the disabled list, and he said before the game that it was really beneficial to spend that week down in Cedar Rapids playing with the Colonels, especially to get time in the field and play first base and get his body back in some baseball shape. He said he hasn't had any issues at all in the field, but that when he swings, he does still feel it in that oblique muscle that he strained. He said it's normal. It's something he expected. But Dick and Jack, it's also something that he's going to probably have to play with the rest of the season. Just a little bit of soreness in that same muscle area.
Well, thank you, Marnie. He looks like vintage Joe Mauer here. He's hit the ball hard twice and drawn a walk. He's got a double and a line out. 1-0 to Carter. And now a strike.
Help me out with my memory, Dick. Wasn't it you were somewhere and one of the players that had an oblique told Joe that, hey, you're going to probably feel this for a while. I'm still dealing with it. It might last all year.
Carter's tied the game up. Second home run against Malone. Another no-counter. His 26th of the year.
Well, I guess if you're going to give them up, you want them to be like those two.
First Altuve and now Carter.
See the pitch right here. He's trying to go away, and he leaves it middle half. Right up in the wheelhouse of Chris Carter.
Now Dominguez 0 for 2. Malone having a tough time throwing first pitch strikes. 22 batters faced, 11 first pitch strikes. Half swing. An appeal? Nope, 2-0. Dominguez hit a ground ball to Escobar, who got a force play at second base, and then Dominguez hit a fly ball to Santana in center. That's into center field, a base hit. Everything's been hit sharply here in the 5th against Malone. A line out to Santana. The home run by Carter, now Dominguez aboard. That'll bring up Jason Castro. Touched on it before. One of the problems the Astros have now, they've hit 130 home runs in 119 games, but just based on having seen them play 3.5 games here, when you have so few guys who can put the ball in play and get on base, and a lot of guys who strike out, you tend to end up with games like this where you've hit a couple of home runs, but you only have 2 points on the board.
Well, this is very hitter-friendly ballpark. To left field, all the way over to where it jettisons out, is a kind of a launching pad. Right field, even though there's a lot of room in right center, left center, and straightaway center down the lines. It's a very hitter-friendly ballpark.
With all the strikeouts, over 1,000 coming into the game today. The Astros have walked just 357 times coming into play today. Twins have walked 409 times. 1-1 to Castro. Pulled foul. Castro with a foul out to Suzuki and a ground ball to second. Even across the board, 2 runs, 7 hits and an error for both teams.
Well, it only makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, I'm not trying to be sarcastic here, but if you're a team that strikes out a lot, you're usually not going to walk a lot. You're up there swinging.
Right. And there's a called third strike. Castro becomes out number 2 here in the 5th. We'll bring up Domingo Santana.
5th strikeout now for Malone.
On the outside corner or thereabouts.
Close enough.
Castro looks across the plate in disgust. Outside a ball.
That's the line on Tommy Malone so far. 4 2/3 innings pitched. 2 runs. 5 strikeouts.
Dozier backpedals. And at least Domingo Santana put the ball in play. He's retired. The Astros tie it up on Carter's home run. Well enough to keep this a 2-2 ball game. Hasn't had a 1-2-3 inning, and now we get into the Astros bullpen. Jake Buchanan, their long reliever, getting ready to pitch to the Twins in the 6th. Kurt Suzuki, first man to face him. Over for a strike.
See the numbers for Jake Buchanan.
For strike 2.
I guess after 3 previous starts that were pretty rough for Brad Peacock. They're going to take what they got out of him today. 7 hits allowed over 5 innings.
115 pitches for Peacock. And Suzuki with a
rare strikeout like that. He rarely chases.
That's going to bother Suzuki for a while. 1 down. Here's a look at the AT&T fan photo of the game. You can tweet your photo to #NorthFanPhoto. A chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. See sunshine there, so that must have been taken to Target Field, I would guess. Parmalee takes ball 1. He's struck out twice, once swinging, once looking. One and one. Two and one. The outfield ranks, which have been thin all year long, have gotten thinner today with the trade of Josh Willingham. Parmalee, guy who would like to fill a corner outfield spot, will get more opportunity to do just that. Strike, and it's 3-2. Down the line, and a foul ball by inches. It landed on the dirt in foul ground, and it looks like there's only about a foot of dirt in foul territory before it becomes grass.
Game of inches, remember? Cameron did a nice job of tracking that one.
10 of them that time. 3-2 to Parmalee. Liner to Altuve, playing him in short right field. Parmalee smoked it. A top spin liner that sunk right to Altuve.
That's where the shift pays off right there. They had Altuve positioned perfectly.
We'll bring up Escobar, who's picked up 2 more doubles tonight.
Try to guess which inning he did what.
Is that the first one or the second?
I don't know. Wait a minute. Is this a replay of the first one?
Down and in, ball 1 to Escobar.
How about if he just confuses the issue a little more and does it again?
He won't get one by Singleton.
I was going to say, look where Singleton's playing now.
Swing and a miss. He tried to hit it over everybody's head. There's no chance.
You might as well just stand on the line. What the heck? Stand right with the umpire. Hold his hand.
1-1 to the Twins shortstop.
Hit it there.
Singleton took 1 step over in fair territory and make sure that that ball wasn't going to get by him. 1-2. Twins haven't had a hit since Santana's squibber in the 4th. 6 straight batters have been retired by Houston pitching. 2-2. Foul ball. Got a piece of it.
Off-speed pitch. Escobar out in front a little bit, but he's able to hold off enough just to put a little contact on that ball.
7 hits for the Twins, 4 doubles, and all the doubles have come with 1 out in an inning. Now 3-2. Jordan Schaefer on deck. And he takes a walk. So Escobar's reached all 3 times. That'll get the number 9 hitter up. Schaefer 0 for 2. A fly ball to center in the second. And he's called out on strikes in the 4th. Breaking ball and a weak grounder to Altuve to end the inning. Bottom of the 6th coming up. 2 apiece. Fox Sports North is presented by Toyota. The annual clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by McDonald's. Stop in all summer for a cool, refreshing McCafe iced coffee, starting at just $1.59. 2 apiece. Bottom of the 6th, Tommy Milone's Twins debut, and it's gone okay. I don't think Malone himself would tell you he's been thrilled with how he's pitched here tonight. 11 out of 24 first pitch strikes. He'll pitch to the bottom 3rd of the Oakland lineup. This might be his last inning, and he'd like it to be his best inning. Strike 1.
His command hasn't been as sharp as he probably expects it to be. But somehow he's only allowed just the 2 runs, both the home runs. And he would admit that they were both mistake pitches. So he gets through this inning and Winston score him a run. He still has a chance to win this game.
He's had a tough time with these 3 batters. He's only retired Singleton, Marisnik, and Petit once. He struck out Petit in the 4th. 2-1. Singleton 1 for 1, a single and a walk. Marisnik with 2 singles. Petit with a walk and a strikeout.
Bottom 3 in the lineup have been a nemesis for him.
A high fly to right. Parmalee back. And now over toward the corner. And now in a little bit. 1 down. That'll bring up Marisnik. Twins started the day 2.5 games behind the idle Chicago White Sox.
Quite a game going in Kansas City.
Sonny Gray against Yordany Ventura. Swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch. Marisnik behind the count 0-1. Tigers are trying to get back into it. It's 10-6 in the 8th. And Justin Verlander left after 1 inning because of a sore shoulder. One and one. Popped up, backing out of play. Ryan Presley warming up in the Twins bullpen. Two and two. Called. Fouled away. It's not just that the Twins at this level haven't had a left-handed starter this year, but at the upper levels of the minor league system, there's Logan Darnell and there's Chris Johnson. But the guys you hear about, Trevor May, Alex Meyer, Cole Stewart, they're all right-handed. And so the top prospects for the Twins being right-handed starting pitchers, this trade even made more sense, I thought, because the Twins seem to have a dearth of left-handed starting pitching. This guy's 32 and 22 in his big league career already. That's to center. Santana played that dangerously, but he was able to hold Marisnik to a single, his third hit of the ball game. Now on FoxSportsNorth.com, you can view photos from tonight's game, analysis of the Gopher football roster. Will Minnesota State's Adam Thielen make the Vikings? You look at the starters that might be in the mix for next year. You've got Hughes and Gibson and Nolasco and maybe Mike Pelfrey and
and the younger guys you mentioned, Meyer, maybe.
Right. May.
We got a little taste of Trevor May the other day.
Got him picked off. Bauer's throw right on the bag. A perfect throw from Mauer, and that's nice to see that in his first game back, the accuracy that he showed all those years from behind the plate. I mean, Marisnik took off, and it looked like he might be able to steal that on the pickoff, but Mauer threw a perfect bullet.
Joe doesn't do a whole lot of things very fast. You see, he takes his time getting rid of the ball, but a perfect throw. Like you mentioned, just like a catcher would throw to second base, he just throws it right in the glove of Escobar, right on the bag.
And ball one to Gregorio Petit. That's to center, and it's hanging in the air for Santana. And in a sense, Malone's sixth inning, if it is his last, was his finest. He faced just 3 men. low-scoring game.
2 runs for the Astros today via the home run, Altuve and then Chris Carter. They both connect to drive the ball over the wall and put 2 runs on the board. Joe Mauer extends his hitting streak to 13 games. Welcome back, Joe. A double off the wall. And for his Twins debut, Tommy Milone throws 6 innings, giving up just the 2 home runs. Pretty effective day for Tommy Milone.
And Milone might be done. He and Kurt Suzuki discussing Santana with a nice bunt on the grass.
No
and
chance.
It'll be a base hit. Second time in as many games we've seen Santana get a bunt single late in the game. And this one was a much better bunt than the one yesterday in Oakland.
3rd hit of the game for Danny Santana.
He's hit one ball hard.
Yeah, we're just getting accustomed to this guy getting on base. His on-base percentage is off the charts. Then once he's on base, he can make things happen. Watch this bunt right here. Pretty wet ground in front of home plate. Castro, no chance.
I know Rod Carew spends a lot of time watching Twins television. He might be watching tonight. He has to be happy because I know he spent a lot of time working with Santana, and I don't know that Rod's expertise in bunting has been a pickoff throw to first, but the first baseman Singleton was running in for a possible bunt from Dozier. Castro seems to be a bit confused back there. He had Vargas picked off earlier in the ball game but didn't throw.
I was trying to make up for it. He's making sure he throws this time.
1 strike to Dozier.
But back to your point about Danny Santana and his ability to bunt the ball, it just adds another whole element that, quite honestly, a lot of guys shouldn't have, don't have. But Danny Santana is a prime candidate for that part of his game because of his speed and his bat control and his quiet hands at the plate. And the element of surprise to bring the infielders, especially the third baseman and first baseman, in, which might help extend his.
Santana goes. He's thrown out by Castro.
Perfect throw right there. Danny didn't get the greatest jump. Watch the pitch from Buchanan. You can see that he got rid of the ball quite quickly, but
this is the 3rd time Santana's been thrown out trying to steal.
Jason Castro gets rid of the ball. Perfect strike. Perfect strike.
So the Astros had a base runner and he was picked off. The Twins get a base runner and he's thrown out trying to steal. 1-on-1 to Dozier, who squirts one to the right side. Dozier with a head first slide. The ball not caught. So Dozier should get an infield hit. It's the 3rd number off the end of a bat that'll go as a hit for the Twins. 2 from left-handed batters, and now Dozier gets one.
You couldn't lay down a bunt any better than this, and it confuses both the first baseman and the pitcher. They're looking at each other, and finally the pitcher breaks to the bag. The first baseman, Singleton, fields the ball, but by then the pitcher has to look back while he's running away, try to pick up the ball and find the bag all at once. He did it in such a bang-bang situation, he forgot to hold on to the ball. He had Dozier if he could have.
They give an error to the pitcher
for dropping the ball, I think.
I thought that would have been a base hit, but it's an error to the pitcher. The 3rd pitcher error in the game. And now Mauer, who has walked, doubled off the fence and left, and hit a liner to left center. Twins have 2 hits this inning that have traveled maybe 90 feet. Twins have never trailed, but their leads haven't lasted very long either. On the outside corner.
If Joe Mauer could hit a ball hard to right center, we could see how far he could run before he needs oxygen, because there is a huge hole out there.
He can run one up Tal's Hill in
Sure
center
he
field.
could. He could have it just hit the Geico sign and run up over the wall there.
Taken low.
Right, Buck. Come on, Buck.
By Singleton, he'll go back to the bag and double up Dozier. 2 scratch singles, and then Mauer hits a bullet for a double play, and we go to the bottom of the 7th. Here we go.
As we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Bottom of the 7th, and Ryan Presley comes on in relief of Tommy Malone. He'll face the top of the Houston order: Grossman, Altuve, and Carter. Fastball up and away. Not bad between innings. We've got the Houston radio guys in the booth next to us, the Houston TV guys in the booth to the left of us.
I wish I had a pocket full of change.
Liner to left, and Schaefer makes a nice catch, picking it right before it hit the ground. 1 down.
Kind of got caught in between, didn't know what to do, and then he finally lunged at it, and the ball went in his glove. Big out right there. You don't want a leadoff man to get on in front of Altuve, who's hit the ball hard 3 times. See it again right here. Schaefer kind of waiting, and it could have got caught in the lights a little bit. Didn't react right away right to the ball, but recovered nicely.
1 down in the 7th, and now Altuve. He's hit the ball hard 3 times. A long home run to tie the game in the 1st. Sharp single to center in the 3rd. And then he lined out to Santana in the 5th. During the 7th inning stretch, the Houston radio guys, Houston TV guys are throwing out Cracker Jack to the fans in front of us. We don't have anything. We both, we gave what we had. Press notes.
I know. And they're looking at us like, what a bunch of bums.
Right. Strike 2.
Tomorrow I'm bringing a fistful of pennies and see if there's any kids that like me on it.
2 strikes. Presley given some 7th inning duty here. Breaking ball hit weakly on the ground. Escobar firing on the run. 2 down. Pitch by Presley. First time that Altuve hasn't stung the ball. Twins fans, if you need to replace the old flip-flops you've been wearing all summer, look to the Twins for help. You can be among the first 10,000 fans at the game Wednesday, August 20th. Twins taking on the Indians. And it's fan flip-flop night presented by the beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel. Call 800-33-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com to get tickets. Here's Chris Carter. Missing inside, ball one. Carter with a walk, a fly ball to center, and then a long home run to left that tied the game at 2. Two and 0.
I see Kansas City went up on Oakland in Kansas City, so it'll be up to their closer to shut that door. Pick up a game on the Tigers and go into first place.
Games might end about the same time, even though Detroit's started an hour earlier.
Well, Detroit scored. It's over. It's a final.
2-1. Carter. Presley with a 93-mile-per-hour fastball blew it past Carter. Again, a lot of strikeouts for Carter, 124 of them, and 356 at bats. Breaking ball lifted to left. Back is Schaefer. And Presley enjoys a 1-2-3-7. Off the 8th inning, middle of the Twins lineup, Vargas, Plouffe, and Suzuki. First pitch tapped on 2 hops to Altuve. And Vargas is quickly retired, 1 away. We'll bring up Plouffe. Our farmland, what's cooking in the American League Central right now? The race is tied, with Kansas City perhaps on the verge of taking the lead in the 9th inning. Again, Justin Verlander left after 1 inning. He gave up 5 runs in the first, bunted in the top of the 2nd inning, and then left for the clubhouse with a sore shoulder. Here's Plouffe, 0 for 3 with a run batted in. Twins need to get something going here. They've not hit at all. Last well hit ball was Escobar's double in the 4th. Strike 2. And headed up the middle and through. Through for the base hit. Well, 1-out single. Again, not hit particularly hard, but in a good spot. We'll bring up Suzuki. Soup.com trivia question. Gotta believe it's Mike Scott, wouldn't you think?
Mike Scott, Joe Niekro, maybe Nolan Ryan.
Joe Niekro, yeah.
Hey,
I
Niekro.
like that answer. Joe was part of the '87 Twins team. Give you some idea how thin the Twins were, and I hate to bring it up because they beat you in the playoffs. How thin the Twins were in the starting pitching department in '87. That ball dropped by Castro, and Plouffe goes to second base. Now that ball never left the catcher's box, but Plouffe saw it, and now they're going to send him back?
No.
Plouffe thought about going back, but he'll stay at second base.
Castro is trying to find the ball, and he runs around Bob Davison, the home plate umpire. You see it hits off Davison. Davison is not trying to get in the way, but I don't think there was any way he's going to be able to recover, pick up the ball, and throw Plouffe out anyway.
It's got to be a pass ball on the catcher, isn't it? Go ahead runs in scoring position now for Suzuki. Now, guarantee you Suzuki's going to have a better at bat than he had in the 6th inning against Buchanan when he struck out on 3 breaking pitches. But anyway, the Twins in '87 had to go out and get Steve Carlton at the very end of his career, Joe Niekro at the end of his career. Suzuki looking for his first hit in the 8th inning. And a strike call.
It's funny when I think of Joe Niekro, I cannot help but think about the Emery Board incident. And the reason I say it is because his brother Phil would have been dragged out of there with handcuffs on, because there is no rule saying you cannot have an Emery Board in their back pocket.
Driven to the corner, but foul. At that time, Buchanan hung a breaking ball.
It's just the way Joe went about it, almost feeling guilty. And Phil said, look, we knuckleball guys have to file our nails down, so we keep an Emery Board. He said there's no proof, there's no evidence that we were doctoring the ball. We just do it to file our nails. Anyway, different two brothers with a whole different attitude.
1 and 2 to Suzuki. He's held hitless until his big 8th inning double yesterday in Oakland. Another breaking ball and bouncing it foul.
I mentioned Kurt struck out his last at bat against Buchanan and chased a pitch. You don't see him do that very often. He can kind of redeem himself here. Twins need that run.
One and 2. Tapper to third. Plouffe has to hold on at second base. Dominguez firing across 2 down. And we'll bring up Parmalee. Catch the final third of the season on MLB.TV Premium. Watch every out-of-market game live in true high definition on more than 400 devices. Visit twinsbaseball.com for details. Check out the nation's #1 live streaming sports service, MLB.TV Premium. So now Chris Parmalee with another trip to the mound coming. Brett Strom, the pitching coach. Kansas City is the leader. No, it's not posted as a final yet, is it? I beg your pardon. Still 3-2 in the 9th inning. Parmalee's delivered some potentially huge late inning hits. There it is, a final. Kansas City beating Oakland 3-2. So the Royals are now in first place in the Central with an 8-game winning streak. Parmalee takes outside.
The Royals were in first place for a brief time about a month ago, and then they kind of hit the skids, and Detroit started playing better again. But the Tigers now, with Verlander maybe hurt, their pitching staff is in a bind, especially the bullpen.
2-0 to Parmalee. The Twins are 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position, and the 2 hits were little numbers that advanced a runner from second to third. 2 infield hits.
Right now, it doesn't matter how it gets done. They just need to figure out a way to get Plouffe in from second base.
Grounded to right field, a base hit. Plouffe around third. Here he comes. Grossman's throw to the plate. Out at the plate. A perfect throw from Robbie Grossman.
They won't have to argue that one.
Bob Davidson looking into the Twins dugout. The Twins will accept the call as it stands. And Plouffe trying to score from second on Parmalee's single. Grossman throwing twice to second base, off target a little bit, but this one was right on the button. Perfect throw from right fielder Robbie Grossman.
You see Grossman getting to the ball, picking up his cutoff man, throws it right past him. Cliff just didn't have enough steam running around third base.
The only possible appeal would have been if the catcher Castro had not given Plouffe a sliding lane, but on that replay it sure looked like Plouffe had the back door open, so to speak, and he tried to reach the plate with his hand. Dominguez with a 1-1 count from Ryan Presley. Swinging a foul, 1-2. Well pitched 7th inning for Presley as he set down the Astros 1-2-3.
First Twins pitcher today to be able to do that. Malone pitches 6 innings but did not shut down the Astros in order.
Fastball gets him. 1 down. And that'll be the end of the night for Ryan Presley. Good outing for the right-hander.
93-mile-an-hour fastball. He elevates it a little bit.
Well, Presley comes out of the pen with a really good outing, and with 1 out in the 8th, we'll have another pitching change. Brian Dunsing, I suspect, will come in. And we'll tell you more about Dunsing when we come back. Ryan Dunsing will come in to pick up Ryan Presley in relief.
Well, he's going to be asked to get out the left-handed hitting Jason Castro. You see the numbers this year from Ryan. 46th game, and he's done a good job.
He'll face Castro, who's 0 for 3. A foul out, a bouncer to second, and a strikeout. Castro doing okay against left-handers, hitting .253 against them. Better than how he's done facing right-handers. Dunsing starts him with ball 1. Malone was able to get him 3 times. Dunsing facing Castro, and then Domingo Santana will hit. Way out in front. Strike 2. Dunsing, of course, for the early parts of his career was shifted back and forth from the bullpen. I think what we've seen this year, he's really embraced the role he's been in the last couple of years and knows how to pitch in that role. 1 and 2.
It's a different mindset for a pitcher who was a starter pretty much all his career, and then he's finally emerged as a reliever. But now Dunce, like you mentioned, I think he's a guy that Gardy and Rick Anderson know how to use him. He's a 1-inning guy. He can be extended out to 2 or 3, but they prefer to just use him for an inning, primarily to get left-handers out, but he's got the tools to get those lefties out with.
And a breaking ball in the dirt. He's mixed up breaking balls and fastballs too.
The one thing you have to learn and adjust to as a starter and you become a reliever is you don't have to pace yourself. But you have to throw strikes right away. You can't afford to get behind hitters at all because you don't have time to make up for it. As a reliever, you might only get 1 hitter. So you have to go in throwing strikes.
2 and 2. Fouled into the screen. Ready again for another 2-2 pitch. Time call. Slow breaking ball, bounce foul.
There's a pitch right there that Brian Dunsing has really improved with it. And that's because you learn to read hitters. He's able to take a little bit more off his breaking pitch. I think as a starter, especially when he was young, he had 1 speed on his breaking ball, and it was relatively hard. But now he can see that that hitter is jumping at him at times. He still has to throw the breaking ball, but he's able to take some off and get that hitter out in front.
Check swing. Nope. There's Adrian Johnson. And it's a full count. Domingo Santana on deck. Castro's fouled off some breaking pitches and taken one on a check swing to fill the count. Suzuki to the mound. Neither team has done very well here in terms of clutch hitting. Astros getting 2 runs on 2 solo home runs. They're 0 for 5. The Twins, as we said, are 3 for 13, and those 3 hits haven't scored a run. Full count. That's a foul ball. Johnson feeding Castro a lot of off-speed stuff.
Johnson just has faced Castro 1 time. He's 1 for 1 off of Bryan.
To left, Schaefer with the catch, 2 away. A long at bat, but Dunson gets the out, 2 away. Catch every strikeout, every game ender, and every history-making moment on MLB Whip Around, weeknights at 9 p.m. Central on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. A 10-pitch at bat for Dunson. And now Domingo Santana, who in his major league career is 0 for 16 with 13 strikeouts. And Dunson misses low. Awful lot of power. You've seen that in his swing. You just haven't seen him make contact. Two and 0. Of course, they get a scouting report on a young player like Santana. And natural temptation is, well, why throw him a strike if you don't need to? And now then you find yourself behind 2 and 0.
That's the whole point of what happens at the big league level. In the minor leagues, there's obviously scouts. I mean, teams have an idea what your strength and weakness are.
Fouled away, 2 and 1.
But in the big leagues, they can expose that in a hurry because big league pitchers can hit their spots a lot more than minor league pitchers can. And if you have a weakness, they're going to pitch to that weakness.
2 and 1 from Dunsing. 3 and 1. Singleton on deck. Santana has walked 1 time. Three and 2. Young man is now 0 for 17 with 14 strikeouts. Dunson gets a couple of outs. Part of a scoreless bottom of the 8th inning. land in Kansas City tonight or tomorrow sometime and join a first-place ball club. Not bad.
Last to first in one flight.
Kevin Correa got the win tonight as the Dodgers beat the Braves. Josh Fields will pitch for the Astros. Correa traded from a last-place team to a first-place team. Escobar takes strike one. It'll be Escobar, Schaefer, and Santana in the Twins' ninth. Two strikes, and again the first baseman Singleton's shadow is lapping over the baseline. He's playing real close to the line after Escobar's sneaked two doubles past him down the line. 0-2. Twins have not had a leadoff man on other than in the seventh inning when Santana bunted for a single. 1-2. Santana, I guess, led off the ball game with his single and scored back in the first as well. Twins have never trailed. Got a run in the first, another one in the fourth. Two and two. Fields a strikeout guy, as you saw, 43 2/3 innings, 59 strikeouts, only a dozen walks, 2 of those intentional. And he strikes out Escobar on a high fastball. One down.
We talked about how the pitching coach likes these guys to go up the ladder when they're ahead in the count. See if they'll expand the zone. That's exactly what Escobar did right there.
Schaefer hitless in the ball game. Made a couple of nice catches in left field. Ball one. Twins with 10 hits, including 3 doubles. Astros with 8 hits, including 2 home runs. Speed pitch left up high, and it's 2-0. Back, ready for that 2-0 fastball. Spun it back to the screen.
Look over the numbers here. Fields has not faced any of the Twins more than once, other than now Escobar. Escobar now 0 for 2 off of him. Some activity in the Twins pen. Right-handed Jerry Burton, of course.
Perkins warming up if the Twins get a run. Burton warming up in case they don't. And another 94-mile-per-hour fastball. This time a swing and a miss. Three and two. Everyone but Suzuki and Schaefer has at least one hit. Three and two to the Twins left fielder. He walked him. We'll see what the Twins do, if anything, with Schaefer's speed at first. Santana will bat. He's already got 3 hits tonight. Astros. And we have a day game on Wednesday. The Twins have a nice week and a half long homestand coming up. Santana with a line drive single in the first, a squibber for a single in the fourth, and a bunt for a single in the seventh. Strike one. Schaefer, as we've said a number of times, with speed, but also a very high success rate in stealing bases. 88% in his career.
Jason Castro was able to throw out Danny Santana, so that might give a sour taste in Gardenhire's mouth about trying to straight steal Schaefer. But they need a runner in scoring position so a base hit can score him.
One and one to Santana. This year, Schaefer's 15 for 17 in stolen bases. There he goes. And Santana pops it up. And Schaefer's got to hustle back with Dominguez making the catch in fair territory. Schaefer with a good break, but he took off, and Santana hit it almost on top of the third base bag, 2 away. Now Dozier. Astros playing Dozier a little more straight up in the outfield than they have.
May take a double to score Schaefer from first.
There goes Schaefer. And Schaefer is in at second base. Santana was thrown out. Good throw again by Castro, but Schaefer's just got extraordinary acceleration, and he steals second here in the 9th inning.
You watch him accelerate, and it's those last few steps that makes the difference too. He goes into the bag at full speed.
Catcher and pitcher talk about sign sequence here. Pitch was ball one to Dozier.
Now Dozier just needs to find a hole beyond the infield.
He's had this situation last inning with Plouffe at second and 2 down. Parmalee got the single. Grossman came up with a strong throw to throw him out. Slow breaking ball, and it misses. 2-0. First base is open, but Mauer's on deck, and Joe's hit everything hard tonight. Fouled straight back. To Schaefer, and now to Dozier too. Fell behind 2-0, and the hitters are sitting on the fastball, but they can't turn it around. Dozier did the same thing Schaefer did, fouled it straight back. Two and one.
Got to see if Fields maybe tries to climb the ladder again.
3-1.
Here's a case where those 2 breaking balls to Bryan, there's no way he's going to hit it. They're so slow that he's already out in front, and it's like a free pitch, but you've got to throw it for a strike, and he wasn't able to do that.
3-1 to Dozier. A high foul fly. And Dozier ready for that fastball, and he popped it up into the seats. Dozier drawn nearly as many walks recently, although he does lead the team with 63 walks. Outside chance of drawing 100 walks. Ball 4, he walked him, and Mauer will have a chance in his first game back to drive in the go-ahead run. 2 walks in the inning, a stolen base, and now Mauer, who walked in the first, doubled high off the fence in left in the third, lined out to center, and then lined out to Singleton for a double play.
Well, they have an option because there's a base open. You pick who you want to pitch to. Joe Mauer, pretty good reputation over his career of making contact and good eye. You've got a rookie in Kenny Vargas on deck with tremendous power.
The only ball he's hit hard was a foul ball.
Right. So what do you do?
Brett Strom to the mound.
The one thing that I think is unfair for a pitcher is when a pitching coach comes out and says, be careful with the guy, pitch around him. Well, what's he really saying?
You can't get him out.
Get him out, but don't give him anything to hit. Well, either walk him or go after him. I mean, make up your mind. What do you want me to do?
Speed on the bases, both at second and first. And Mauer at the plate. Altuve playing in short right field. Strike over the inside corner.
Houston bullpen is quiet, so this is all on the pitcher Fields. They want him to get out of this.
Missing the inside corner. Came back inside. Just missed the edge. Strike says it was right there.
And unfortunately, a changeup that's a terrible spot for a changeup. You want that pitch to be down and away if you're going to take a little off.
It's outside now, 2-1. Field getting ahead of Mauer. Now a couple of off-speed pitches.
Well, that's another question you have to ask yourself. Do you want to get beat with your third best pitch, or do you want to get beat with number one? Sometimes you just have to go your best against his best.
Mauer lifts it foul into the seats. Got a fastball to even the count.
Normally with 2 strikes in this count, it's a pitcher's count. But Joe Mauer is one of those rare hitters that doesn't mind hitting with 2 strikes.
Field says he wants to start all over with signs. 2-2. 3-2. Vargas on deck. Reds don't have a hit against Fields. It just feels that way. He's walked 2 men. And he's run the count full on Mauer with the full count. Schaefer and Dozier can leave their bases early. Runners go. Mauer grounds it to left, a base hit. Schaefer will score. Dozier to third, and Mauer comes through in the ninth. And now another runner trying to score. Dozier scores.
That was just great base running right there by Brian Dozier. The left fielder did not throw the ball in. He was staring, looking, and Dozier's kind of sneaking down the line, and he finally makes up his mind, okay, you want me to challenge you? I'm going to challenge you. And he had to have a perfect throw right on target. Throw was off target, and Dozier was able to score. There's a swing for Mauer in the hole, drives in the first run Schaefer. And watch Dozier here as this ball gets to the outfield.
Oh my.
He's just kind of egging on Dozier, saying, go ahead, try it, try it, try it. So finally Dozier did.
Meanwhile, all the while, Altuve standing at second base, and all the left fielder has to do is throw it to him. So it turns out to be a two-run play. Mauer going to second. Joe's had a very good return to the lineup with 2 hits and 2 lineouts and a walk.
Brian Dozier is a very aggressive base runner. He's made a few mistakes by being over aggressive, but right there, just being able to sneak up the third baseline as that left fielder is kind of looking you back, and he finally took off.
Another one flared foul by Vargas, and he's behind in the count quickly, 0-2. Of course, with the runs being scored, Dozier now with 83 runs scored, leading the major leagues. We will assume that Glenn Perkins will pitch the bottom of the ninth. Very high.
And if they only score 1 more run or less, which would be just the 2 runs, that'll be a save opportunity for Perkins.
1-2 to Vargas. High fastball guy. Fields strikes out a couple, but he walks a couple. Gives up a big base hit to Joe Mauer. Added in on his single to left, and Dozier with some aggressive and alert base running. Here's what happened on the base hit to left field.
As you can see, Brian Dozier's on first base, just now taking second base. The left fielder just stares him down. Domingo Santana just challenging Dozier, and Dozier finally takes off and he scores. And that's a very unusual RBI because he did stop at third base, but Joe Mauer gets credited for 2 there. And Glenn Perkins now has a save opportunity.
The pitch to the bottom third of the Houston lineup, starting with John Singleton and Jake Marisnick and Gregorio Petit. one. Twins with 52 wins. Perkins has saved more than half of them. Looking for save number 29. One and one. Big swing and a miss. 1 and 2. Pitcher of record right now for the Twins is Dunson. Very high, 2 and 2.
And if it ended this way, Josh Fields would get the loss. Perkins would get the save.
Popped a mile in the air. Suzuki coming back. But it's out of play. Now you were a starter, not a closer. You pitched a lot of ninth innings in your time. It's got to make a big difference when you've got a 2-run lead rather than a 1-run lead.
Huge. Huge. There's room for error. The more runs, the more room for error. And you don't want to look at it that way, but that's the reality of it. You have to be perfect with only 1 run.
2 and 2. Excuse me, check swing grounder.
We've seen Glenn Perkins many times this year give up 1 run and still get a save. So for him, the save opportunity is much better with a couple runs.
Now 3 and 2. Singleton doesn't walk much, but he strikes out at an alarming rate. I've said that about so many of these hitters. Singleton has not struck out yet tonight. Put the ball in play twice. 211 at bats and 84 strikeouts. On the outside corner. Now he's struck out. 1 down. And that'll bring up Verisnik.
Just an important out for the closer to come in and get that leadoff man. Perkins goes 3-2 and then paints a slider.
One down, and now Verisnik, who has 3 hits tonight, all 3 hits against Tommy Malone. Chased by Parmalee, and Parmalee can't quite get there. Justice has prevailed here, I think, and took an RBI away from Joe Mauer. They've given Mauer 1 run batted in, and the second run on a fielder's choice when the fielder chose to hang on to the baseball.
Yeah, and I think that's the right decision right there, because Dozier was stopping at third, and then by being taunted by Santana, the left fielder, he finally takes off, and that was a fielder's choice.
And a very poor one. Call strike.
Not a good decision. The poor guy's had a tough night. 3 strikeouts and then that defensive blunder.
0-2 to Verisnik. Petit on deck. There's a base hit to left. His 4th single of the ball game. And that'll bring up Petit, who represents the tying run. Petit against Malone, walked, struck out, hit a fly ball to center. Little nubber. Perkins, bare hands, fires low. Mauer with a great pickup at first. A sensational play by the first baseman to keep that ball from rattling around in foul territory. 2 down.
Yeah, that just really was. Not only saved a run, but it probably put the other runner in scoring position. He's got to go beyond the bag pick the ball in the dirt, try not to get run over, and still keep his foot on the bag. It's great concentration right there by number 7.
2 down, and now Grossman. Grossman is 0 for 4. Down low, ball 1. The bell tie strike. Wisnick at second with 2 down. Squirted to first. Mauer will go to the bag. And the Twins open up this series with a win. And Joe Mauer not only returned to the lineup, he took center stage.
Well, he had a great game and gets the RBI that puts the Twins on top. Pretty good outing today by Tommy Milone. His first outing as a Twin. Kept the Twins in the game. The bullpen does a great job in relief. Perkins gets a save. And the Twins win their second game in a row.
Well, the Twins won the finale in Oakland yesterday, Tom Hanneman, and got this series off on the right foot.